This is my office slash studio, and I was looking for some curtains that I could hang up here. And not just any curtains. I wanted something that, kind of gives a studio vibe. And I came across some velvet curtains from IKEA. These are the Sanela curtains. And these are nice blue velvet, beautiful curtains. You get two panels. This is one panel here, and they're 55 by 98. And so 98 should be high enough to go from the ceiling down to the floor. And that's why these are perfect for this. And then when I found those, I thought, okay, well, how am I going to hang these curtains up? Then I came across the VIDGA track. And this is basically a track system. And you get these things here. You have to buy these separate. Once you have these attached to your curtain, they go right in the slot. And then you can open and close the curtains with your sliders here. And I thought that seems to be very appropriate because also this will mount onto the ceiling. They do sell extra pieces if you would like to mount this onto your wall. Those are extra. You have to look for the box for that and buy those pieces extra. We're going to be putting up both of the VIDGA tracks right here in the studio slash office, along with for the Sanela curtains. The VIDGA track, it comes connected with a little piece like this. You just pull this part, and once you have this piece, you're just going to take it undone like that. So you have a nice open box. IKEA is always changing things up. They've actually changed this track system, and they have new pieces to put this up with, along with some new glides. They used to have some kind of wheels. They don't have that anymore. And they had an extra piece when you put it to the ceiling. They don't have that piece no more. So they've changed it up to only having this for the ceiling and having these little pieces that just slide in there. This is actually two pieces. I have them put together. The VIDGA track's 55 inches. That's why I have two here, because the span of this is longer than 55. But if it was 55, this is the perfect length. If it's longer, you can add an additional piece. But if it's shorter, you have to cut it down. So if you're going to cut the rail down, you're going to want to use a tool similar to this. This has a metal blade on it. So this is a hacksaw, and this is aluminum. So this is going to cut this just fine. This should be fairly easy to cut through. This is about $16 if you buy this brand new. If you already have it, perfect. If not, you're going to want it. Now, they did not offer any screws to put this up with, as I'm thinking because they're different ways to hang them up, and they figured they'll just leave that to you. So I picked up these number 8, they're 1.5 inch, and I picked up a number 10. It's a little bit thicker. It's still 1.5 inch. These right here will go in there, but anything bigger than a number 10 is not going to fit through here. But you can use a number 8 if you feel better about using an 8. It's a little bit thinner, and it'll go into here as well. So I would go with the 8 or the 10. Seeing that these have a little bit of weight to them, I'm going to go with these 10s. So just a slightly little bit thicker, and that's it. So same 1.5. If you have a spot you want to put these, you want to secure it where there's no stud, I wouldn't just use regular drywall anchors. I would use some of these toggle bolts. I call them like butterfly bolts. The toggle bolts have this piece here. It goes up and it clicks and it hangs onto the drywall. And so when you tighten that up, it's not going to come out. Now, all the other drywall ones you put in, they're okay. But when you add some weight to it, it's possible that it could just pull back out since there's nothing really holding it. But once you put a toggle bolt across through there, it's a lot more secure, especially for heavier items. And I trust these. I use them all the time. And so these are the 1/8 inch, and I got them in a 2-inch length. You have to go through your drywall that's 1/2 inch. Then you have to go through here, which adds a little bit too. So this, the drywall, by the time you get through it. So I would go with these. These are the 2 inches. That's my recommendation. The good thing is this has wiggle room, because with these clips, you can slide this around. Once it gets into your rail and this tightens down, you can move this around. So say your stud is over this way some. Okay, no problem. Perfect. Wherever you put this, you can have this. So let's say your stud was over here on this area. No problem. We put that in the stud, then it's going to hang from here. So this is fine too. So it can hang from here, it can hang over here. So finding a stud should be fairly easy. Now, to find the ceiling joist, you're going to need a stud finder or some way to find them. Sometimes magnets will work because they'll pick up on a screw where the drywall is. And if you find one, a lot of times you can measure over and find the other one. Now, if you have some type of magnet, you might be able to find the ceiling joist by using the magnet. You can fill it and it sticks. Ceiling joists are usually 24 on center. And once we know where one is, you have a good chance of finding the rest of them. If we're looking at 24 here, then I would say the other one's going to be right about here, and make a little mark. Next one's got to be here somewhere. Oh, I was right. Look, it's right there. You took your measurement from where you said it was here. Look, 24. So it's right on 24. That means if we go from here, which is 24, and we go back to this section, you're going to make another mark right here. And you can also use a stud finder, and you can run it across the wall. That seems to be center right here. Mark right in the middle of this one, and right there is going to be center. I feel it somewhere right in here. Right in there. There it is. See how this thing's kind of hit and miss? That's why I love the magnet thing. We know our stud's right here, our screw's right there. We know it's there. This thing sometimes just has a mind of its own. Now that we kind of know our stud layout, the next thing that we need to do is figure out how many inches out from the wall. You wouldn't want to put this all the way against the wall. You definitely want to leave it a little bit out so it can just come across through here. So the casing is 2.5 inches. So I would say about 3.5 inches. Then I'm going to make a mark over here, 3.5 inches. I'm going to come out again, 3.5 inches from my other mark where I know the stud is. So trying to have this flat against the wall and then come out 3.5 inches. Now our next step that we have to do is figure out where do we want our curtain to stop. Usually curtains just kind of come right here in this area. If you want it just completely off of here, you have to figure, okay, what would it look like off of here? That's something that I think it's a personal opinion on what you want yours to do. But I know for mine on here, I'm probably gonna just let it go all the way back as far as the rails will go. And I know it doesn't quite go all the way to the wall, but I don't need it to, because if it got to there, I would have enough room to put the drape and drape it down here. It would be fine. I'm not going to cut it down because I don't need to. I just need to make sure on my other side over here that I have enough sticking over the casing. Once we put these up, you can slide the rail and figure out where you want it. Now these pieces here are designed to be on the back side of it, so you could undo it and you wouldn't see this from the front. But you could have these in the front if you wanted to. But since we're going to have a big gap, I have no problem with these in the back. But if I was going to be closer, I may not want it that way. So now we're going to use our number 10s here. 1.5. This is a pan head. So pan head basically is flat right in here. It's not like a drywall screw. And these are actually recommended for this type of application. So this is going to be like this. You're going to take this and go through here. And then this is going to be right here. And once you put it into the ceiling, you'll have a nice combination to make this slide, because you're going to need it out, put it in your rail, and then tighten, and your rail should stay up. So that's the way that we're going to be putting this in. All right, so I got my drill, and now we are going to put this piece we have all set up here. Just to make sure I have enough room to loosen and tighten, which I do. So that's one. Then we have to get the small end that goes in here and up against the ceiling. Got them in, lock them. Now this will be our last one. For our 2 tracks to line up, this piece is going to go into this track. Slides right in here. And then there's a halfway mark on here. It's got a line across it. And you just line that up halfway, snap that down, locks it in place. Then this will slide into this right here to lock this in. So now we need to get these in place. That one's in there. Okay, there we go. And I have the whole rail up there. You can't even tell where I put it together. There's two pieces you got to put on there. This is one of them. We probably should have already put it on, but that's okay. And they give you this little Allen wrench piece right here, and this goes in, so it's a stopper for the other ends. You know, you don't want to roll these off on one end and all of a sudden they all start falling off. So this stops that from happening. So we're going to put it on this side. We can roll our curtains on over here and roll them down there. Let's put this on, going to go on the end like this. This piece is down. So then you're going to use your Allen wrench here and you're going to tighten it. Bottom rail, and then just tighten this up. And there you go. So now, if your rollers, you roll your curtain that way, it's not going to go off the end. So you're good to go. They don't give you pieces to hang your curtains up with. You're going to need to buy these right here. Get 24. Each one of these panels with these curtains in particular, you're going to need 20. And so you get them not put together. You're going to take this one, and you have to put 20 of these together. And that's just for the two panels. So 40 of them you got to put together. I've already done a lot of them. I just have to do these other ones, because I wanted to make sure I'm showing you guys how to do it. So let's go ahead and put those together, and then we'll put them on the curtain. Okay, so we have all of our pieces put together here. I put them in this little box. We have our tag here. These tags are ridiculously long. So for me, I'm going to cut it off. If you want to cut yours off, it'll be fine. If you want to keep it on, you can. This little piece right here on the back of the curtain, you are going to take this piece and just bunch this up. Flip that right on there, just like that. When you do get it on, it does have a little piece that kind of goes back in there, and there you go. And you just have to keep doing that. So you have 10 on here and 10 on your other panel, which made it 20, and then 10 and 10 again for your other two panels. If you have a better suggestion or you need help with any of these things, just leave a comment down below. I'll get to your comment and try to help in any way I can with whatever information you may need. I always read over the comments. I always comment back to you guys as soon as you comment. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other panel, and then we're going to come right back. I have all my curtains ready to go. We can start sliding them in, sliding them across. Just like that. All right, so that is one panel. So you can see on the end, it is a little floppy, but honestly, you're not even gonna know. It doesn't change how it holds it up here. It's held up fine. Now we need to put in our piece so none of these slide back off. Our piece is gonna go down here. You can hook one of them in here, and then that way you wouldn't be able to drag it over. So that's in place. It's not coming back off. None of these can come off. Everything looks good. Now we're just gonna fix them, make sure the tops of them all kind of pop out here. Pull these over here. Wanted them to go all the way to the end over there and cover that spot up so I could do a video. See, if I set the camera down here, then you wouldn't see any of that over there at all. So that's kind of what I wanted. These are some nice velvet curtains from IKEA. This makes a nice backdrop to do a video. And if you want them open, you can just open them. Okay. Just going to have these open. If you don't want it that far back, you know, you can just have them bunched up in here, however you want it. You can even put a little tie. If you wanted to have them all over here on the one side. Possibilities with these, I think, are great. Pull these to the center. You know, there you go. So these are the IKEA velvet curtains. This is a velvet blue. It's a beautiful curtain. So easy to glide back and forth. You just slide those back and you're good to go. I hope I gave you a better understanding on how to install these and different ways that you can install them and how to go about doing it. I'm gonna see about buying some more of these. I like this. All the way to the ceiling and then all the way to the floor. So elegant. The sun's out, it's bright, but with these curtains, completely blocks out that light. They don't have a white backing, they are blue, but it doesn't draw any attention from outside. So this is with the blinds open now, the curtains are drawn back, and you can see the light coming through. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, be part of the family, and we'll see you in the next one. Booyah!